है। अब आज इस धरने को यही समाप्त करा जा रहा है। सभी के मशवरे जैसे पहले था और इसके बाद जो कार्रवाई है आप जुमा पढ़ें और सब दुआ करें कि इंशाअल्लाह आपकी कामयाबी हो। और आगे जो भी हाई कोर्ट है, विधानसभा है, गवर्नर साहब से मिलना है, सब कार्रवाई आपकी कमेटी इंशाअल्लाह करेगी। और आप सब इसी तरह शांति बनाए हुए चलें, इंशाअल्लाह आपकी जीत होगी। बहुत शुक्रिया। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। भाई आपको नारा नहीं लगाएगा, कुछ नहीं लगाएगा।
आगे से कोई युवा मत आए रे।
Some azaleas, we'll just make them so clusters of 10. Spawn these in. So we've got a bunch of azaleas. And then we'll add some elephant grass clusters as well. Okay, so a bunch of elephant grass. And I'm just running quick coverage.
मंत्री आगे कर रहे हैं। शुक्रिया साथियों, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। मिलते हैं फिर दोबारा।
Cool. So now we've got in a fairly record amount of time, we've got a nice, rich environment within which to host a game. So let's now go back to Governor, it's a standard menu, and add a player wind and water and a screenshotter. So that's with Unity water, but I don't want to use Unity water, the performance on it is pretty average. I'm going to delete it. And via extensions, I'm going to add
साथियों ने हजारों की संख्या में इकट्ठे होकर अपना एतजाज जो दर्ज कराया है, मैं कहूँगा कि साहिब के इंसाफ के लिए हम ये लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं और आगे भी लड़ते रहेंगे। और हमें उम्मीद है कि हमें आने वाले समय में इंसाफ भी मिलेगा और हम साहिब के लिए इंसाफ लेके रहेंगे। और हम सबका आज जिस तरीके से और पूरे अपने जज्बात और उनको काबू में रखते हुए जिस तरीके से आज एहसास किया गया है, मैं कहूँगा तारीखी एहसास है। और जरूर ये गूंगी बहरी सरकार जो अमृत बनी बैठी है, इसके कानों तक जूं नहीं रहेंगी, वो हम कोर्ट के भी रहेंगे और उसको अपना हक लेके रहेंगे। आप सबका, सारे हमारे साथियों का, अपने फेसबुक के साथियों का और सारे जिन्होंने आज सोशल मीडिया में इसे लाइव करा है, सारे का सबका भी मैं अपनी तरफ से शुक्रिया अदा करूँगा, कमेटी की तरफ से शुक्रिया अदा करूँगा, मेवात के लोगों की तरफ से कि हम अपनी आवाज़ को ना दबाई है ना हम दबने देंगे, हम इंसाफ लेके रहेंगे। शुक्रिया।
जेब में था, पॉकेट में, यहाँ से। और बाबू
see what other game view is. Okay, so if I play this, let's wait for Unity. Looks nice, but it could look a hell of a lot nicer with some nicer effects. So let me make some modifications here. On my character, I'm going to turn off noise generated by the character. I'm going to increase his run speed so I can just cover some ground and show you the environment. And I'm going to go into the character itself. modify my camera to be HDR enabled. I'm going to make that to say 1500, and it's all looking good. Now I'm going to add some post effects, and let's make it so -100. Move back player somewhere interesting. Let's rotate them a bit. Get a nice view. What I'm trying to do here is just position it nicely. As much as anything else, so we can have a bit of a look at the environment. Okay, so it's pretty hard to see, but it's very, very pixelated. So I'm actually running Unity 5.3.4, and we haven't added any sort of, apart from Tenkoku's distance fog or sky fog, we haven't really added anything to it. So I'm going to actually go into the new cinematic effects and put them on, just to show you what you can get out of the box. So the other thing I'm going to do is, let's just change the time of day to be a little bit more interesting. Okay. So just after midday. Standard effect assets, effects. First we'll add some anti-aliasing. Just go and select that camera, and it'll be hard to see on the video, but it really does soften things nicely. And if we select it to fast and high performance, it actually does quite a nice job with it. Might move that up a bit. And that should be right there. FXA should not be used at the end of the stack. Oh, yeah, we've got HDR. Alright, so next go to ambient occlusion, we'll add that. We'll see the effect, it's fairly instantaneous. We'll leave the defaults. Add a little bit of bloom. Notice the sky blowing out a little bit there, getting a bit of interesting effect here. You can change these values. A little more bloom, not too much. And some depth of field. So it's a fairly savage depth of field here, so we'll push that depth of field out a bit. Even out a bit further. Get rid of the near, or we'll just drop the near right down. Let's just turn it off. And it's really, really a bit overdone, so let's have a look at what we can do here. Just tone. So it's a little bit more subtle in the background there, but we can still see our background. You can muck around with the way it blends it in. Looks okay. Let's add some vignette. A bit of depth to our scene. Chromatic aberration. And let's add some tone mapping. Now this is really cool. We can do things like add eye adaptation in. We can add tone mapping in. Sort of clean things up a bit. Doesn't look too bad. And I particularly like the colour grading. So we can change the colours of our scene really, really nicely and quickly. So leave my blacks as black. Maybe a bit of a bluish tinge to my scene, more sort of wintry, strong wintry. So let's see how this looks when I run it now. Let's wait for Unity. Okay. Just ignore the console messages, that's just because of the settings I chose. It's okay. Now I'm going to switch off the noise and just play with the water just to show you how really lovely these things are. So we'll go into our module and general settings and disable sound, and I'll start this scene again, and we'll just tweak the settings. Just wander up here. And that's the other thing I'm going to do. Inside of the player, it loves to grab the mouse. So we're going to stop that. Try again. Wander over here. And I haven't baked anything yet. If we bake things, it would actually perform a bit better. Let's see if I can make this a bit bigger. So there we have sort of a nice scene. It's looking alright now. Let's see what else we can do to this. Let's go to our character. It's sort of hard to see in the video, but the AA does make a difference. Turn the AO off and on. Let's change our bloom. It's a little gentle bloom there. Go around with the radius to see how that affects things. Again, we can muck around with our depth of field. Put it further into the distance, or bring it a bit closer to us. Muck around with our colour grading so you can see the difference without colour grading and with colour grading. So I really made it a sort of, you know, deep blue, wintry effect there. Alright, so the last thing is I'll just quickly go into full screen mode, and we'll go on, and I'll also just speed my, and I've already run speed, change that to 50. Let's go and have a quick look in this environment in full screen mode. So here are those azaleas and the flowers that I spawned in. Here are the lovely speed trees, the elephant grass, and some of the little point of interest spawning. So we haven't just spawned a house, we've actually spawned an entire village and conformed it all nicely into the environment. Whoops. We're flying. So you can get some really nice environments and some effects really quickly. One last thing, because I just love doing it, and that is, let's play with the light. So if we select Tinkoku and change time of day, look over there, just really beautiful. The other thing I'll do is I'll also increase the detail distance. So you can sort of see, particularly if we find somewhere it's a little bit higher. Let's go up here. Whoops. I accidentally set the jump height, or the jump strength, to 50 instead of the run strength, the run speed. Wait for Unity. So you can see in the terrain settings that the grass stops just here, and it's, if you're a bit higher, it looks pretty average. So go to terrain, go into our settings, and we'll increase the detail distance. So you can see it running out a bit further. if you've got a powerful enough graphics card, it looks wonderful. I drop it down to about there. You can also increase the strength or the detail density, so let's just increase that as well. So now the grass is at full strength. So let's go and have a look now. You will have dropped a bunch of frames doing this. Ugh.